The world can feel, well, really complicated sometimes, right? So, how do we find any clarity? How do we cut through all the noise and figure out what actually matters to us? Well, today we're going to explore a really powerful thought experiment that's designed to do just that. But here's the thing, to get to that kind of clarity, we have to start by looking at something we usually try really, really hard to ignore. It can be a little uncomfortable, but trust me, it's incredibly clarifying. It's time to learn how to dance with the elephant in the room. So what is that elephant? Well, it's death. It's the one certainty we have in life, and yet we build entire cultures just trying to pretend it's not there. But what if, instead of running from it, we actually learned to dance with it? What if we used it as a tool, as a lens to bring our own lives into sharp focus? Yeah, as the philosopher Ernest Becker pointed out, we spend a ton of energy denying this one basic reality. But the ideas we're looking at today suggest that if we just confront this, even as a hypothetical exercise, it can give us this profound, almost instant clarity on how we should be living right now. Okay, so with that setting the stage, let's get to the heart of this thing. It's an exercise called the 9x21 harvest, and it's not just a concept, it's a direct, personal call to adventure for you. All right, let's just do it. I want you to imagine, as vividly as you can, that you have exactly 21 days left on this planet. That's it. 3 weeks. Starting right now. Just let that sink in for a second. What's the very first thought that pops into your head? Now, let's get specific. Make a list, mental or on paper, of the 9 most important things you would absolutely have to do in those last 21 days. Don't worry about money or logistics. The only limit is the clock. This list, this is your personal harvest. These are the essential things you'd need to gather from your time here. And think about what happens when you do this. Suddenly, all the trivial stuff, stressing about work emails, getting into arguments online, wanting the latest gadget, it just vanishes, doesn't it? It doesn't even make the list. The exercise acts like this incredible filter for all the noise, showing you what's truly essential. But hold on, the exercise isn't over, not by a long shot. Once you have that personal list, it hits you with a pretty profound twist. It adds this deeper layer that shifts your focus from just yourself to something much, much bigger. So take a moment. I want you to really visualize that list of 9 things you just came up with. The people, the places, the experiences. Got it? Hold it right there in your mind's eye, because this next question is going to ask you to look at that same list through a completely different lens. And boom, there it is. This is the question that changes everything. It asks us to look past our own personal fulfillment and see how our deepest priorities actually connect to the world around us. How many of your final wishes are really about nourishing something larger than yourself? So what in the world does feeding the life web even mean? Well, it's really about seeing yourself as part of a bigger system, your local environment, your neighborhood, your community, and then acting in ways that make that whole system healthier and more vibrant for everyone. So what does that look like in the real world? Well, it could be stuff that directly helps the land, like growing your own food or planting some native trees. But it can also be about nourishing the human connections, like building real trust with people and sharing what you have with your neighbors. And that right there is the whole point. This second question is designed to spark this fundamental shift in how you see things. It's about moving from a mindset of what do I want to one of how can we thrive, where your own actions strengthen your community and your little corner of the world. So what do you do with this powerful insight? This is where the whole thing transforms from just a thought experiment into an actual blueprint for living a more meaningful life, starting today. See, the idea here is that your list of 9 things, it's not some bucket list you do at the very end. No, it's an action map. It's the blueprint for creating what you could call your cosmic legacy. And that legacy isn't about stories people tell about you. It's about the real, tangible health of the place where you actually live. When you start to see it that way, you realize something incredible. That separation we always feel between our own happiness and the health of the planet, it just dissolves. Taking care of yourself and taking care of the world become the exact same dance. And this brings us to the final call to action. It's all about reframing that anxiety so many of us feel about the state of the world into a personal invitation, an adventure even. So instead of looking at all the global challenges we face as some kind of looming end, we're invited to see them as the start of a great story. A story where every single one of us has a vital role to play. It's an open invitation to be the hero of your own adventure. And so, Here it is, the final, tangible challenge for you. Don't just file this away. Don't wait for a hypothetical crisis. Take that list of 9 essential things, your personal harvest, and start living it now. Make a real plan today to bring those priorities to life. Because really, this whole exercise, this whole journey, it all boils down to this one single urgent question. The truth is, you don't have just 21 days, but the permission you need to live your most meaningful life, to feed the life web around you, and to start your great adventure, well, that permission is available right now. We have built our world on a high-stakes assumption that our industrial momentum is as unsinkable as the steel hulls we once set into the Atlantic. But the elephant in the room has grown too large to ignore, moving out of our private shadows and into the center of our lives. This is the meta-crisis, the tipping point where the stories of endless growth collide with the physical limits of our planet. It reduces us to passengers, waiting like roadkill on the side of a life we no longer control, paralyzed by the headlines, watching for the next wave to break. Yet when the ship finally cracks, the passenger's role ends, and the adventurer's begins. The very failure of the old world becomes a direct call to a planetary adventure. This is the invitation to step out of the heavy aura of the past and into the absolute power of the present moment. The Lifeboat Mini Course is your immediate, structured transition, a free 5-day journey delivered to your inbox to transform global anxiety into local resilience. As the unsinkable systems fracture, we must stop asking for permission and start acting as co-creators of the cosmos, mapping a new way forward through our own backyards. Day 1 begins with an audit of the invisible, the energy and water systems you rely on every hour, yet rarely ever see. Day 2 forces a change in your geographical lens, challenging you to locate your true home within your watershed and local bioregion. You won't navigate this terrain alone. You will receive daily study guides and synthesized patterns designed to cut through the noise and reveal the architecture of change. Day 3 asks you to practice active hope in a world facing ecological overshoot. Day 4 introduces the demanding standard of revolutionary love. By tracing the water back to your neighbor's tap, you move beyond the narrow walls of self-help and into the expansive, interconnected practice of systems health. The climax arrives on Day 5 with the introduction of a specific framework for your future, the 9x21 harvest. You will commit to 9 concrete actions to be executed over the next 9 days, weeks, or years to build your cosmic legacy. You will then write the 7-generation letter, speaking across time to a resident of your town in the year 2026 to explain the uncommon choices you made today. This legacy is a unified dance, a work of restoration that cannot be built in isolation. Who is your mutual guiding spirit in this transition, and which 9 things will you choose to do? Stop waiting for the headlines to crush you. Sign up for the Lifeboat Mini Course now. Access your Day 1 materials immediately and join the community hub where the next story of our world is already being written. You can remain tied to the illusion of a collapsing global credit card, or take this course to begin building real systems health today. The Earth is tired of the lie. It is time to dance with the truth.